So my name is Brennan Costa. I'm here with my colleagues Tyrone, Josh, and Jose. And our project was on the multi-level security printing. Our sponsor was Andrew Galuski from the Naval Emergency Warfare Center. So currently, printing at NERC is a hassle because each computer can only print to the network that it's on. So let's say there's 3 different networks and you have unclassified, classified, and top secret. If you want to print to a printer that's on one of those networks, it can only be accessed from the one computer that can see that printer on the network. So what we're trying to do is limit the amount of printers needed in a room, but also maintaining the functionality of having each printer of a different security level, and also being able to print from the lower levels to the higher ones. In order to do this, we created a software solution that sits idle on the PC, and it waits for a print job to get sent. Once it gets sent, we pause the print job and prompt the user which printer they would like to print to. And then from there, it's sent to our middle system, which filters it through the appropriate networks to the printer that they choose. So for instance, if we're on an unclassified computer, and the most convenient printer next to us is a classified computer, which is up the security levels, our software would allow you to print up to that printer to make it more convenient. Technologies we use C++, because of its portability. With that, we implemented the Print Spooler API. For version control, we use GitHub. We use Trello for all of our sprints and effort rundowns. And for document management, we use Google Drive. For our software process, towards the beginning, it was mostly research and all of our documentation. We had to figure out how the actual Print Spooler API worked, as well as some of us are unfamiliar with the language that we were using, so a lot of that time was given to that. From there, we had to create the Windows application that would sit idle, and then we just built on the functionality of creating the print jobs, recognizing that they're being sent, and then the functionality of communicating within the network to actually send the jobs.
So for our architecture diagram, which is basically just outlining all the different pieces in our solution, be they software or hardware. I'll just go through a quick example. For example, we begin at the users. They use the network print to catch the print jobs and figure out where we want to send them to. So when we do that, we go ahead and send it through the network to the middle system. And the middle system is also another piece of software that we have. This piece specifically figures out if the software needs to, if the print job needs to go to another level printer. So for example, if it's level 2, like it says here, we'll figure out if we need to send it here, or if we need to send it to the next middle system to go to the level 3 printer, although it's a straight line regardless. But that's one example. Next slide. So this is just a state diagram, and this, here we have like an example of what it would be like if somebody was using the software. So when it's turned on, the network print is idle on the computer. It doesn't do anything. It just waits for a print job to come to be printed. And when it catches it, has it, and it asks the user for the desired printer. So like Brennan said earlier, if the printer, for example, if the user is on a level 1 network, or the lowest level network, and they want to print to the level 2 network, they have to specify which printer. Now, again, if they pick a printer that is on a lower level network or on the same, it's going to tell them that that's an incorrect printer, because if you want to print to the same network, you would just pick the printer from there, from the print options. And if you print something lower, that's a security issue that we have, so we cannot print now. So then it pretty much sends it to the middle system when it's accepted, and it just prints it out and goes back to being idle. Now this is the client side. Right now we're going to have a short demo. So we start off, and like here's the executable for the software. We launch it, and we can see that the software is on standby. So let's say, go ahead and say that Brennan's going to print out a document now. It's a party memo. We go to print, and we pick the network printer. This is as if you were picking any other printer that you were just wanted to get your documents from. So we pick that and click OK. The software takes a little bit to catch the print job because of how we have it set up. But once it does, it gives us this little window, and it allows us to enter the desired printer that we want to print on. on the other network. So for an example, we're gonna pick, let me see if I can see. So yeah, we're gonna have the Microsoft Printer PDF. This is the tool that you would use if you want to print to like a PDF format instead of an actual printer, just have a PDF. We're gonna get an error here because one of the reasons is we don't want to have PDFs sitting on the server side computer because that's what it's gonna be sitting on, and that's not something that's a part of our scope. We don't want that to happen. So we're gonna go ahead, but we're gonna have an actual example of us picking a real printer, not just PDF. So the error that it shows at the bottom right is actually because we're printing to a virtual printer that doesn't have a device connected to it at the end. Here we're just gonna enter, let's say, whatever the printer could be. Click OK, and then that's it. That's the end of whatever the user sees. When they go to the printer, there should be a document being printed out. So back to the presentation. For the future improvements, we decided that we thought of some stuff that the customer specifically wanted. For example, the admin panel. The customer said that if we wanted to, we could have an admin panel to have settings, but the reality is that we ended up making the software so that this isn't necessary. So for example, the printer, the server will always be able to see the printers on the network, so there's no need to put the printers on like a Dropbox or something on the client side, because when you type it in, as long as you know the name and you type it in, it should find it and it should print to it. Changing the headers and footers of the files at the level. The customer said this is something that they wanted, but it wasn't important, and specifically noted that it's like a stretch goal. And expanding the solutions on the operating systems is always a good idea. So here we have some examples of applications we can use, other applications we can have with this. And one we thought of was maybe like a hospital that has multiple levels, like many floors, and they have multiple networks that span the whole hospital. So we could use this without the security features. We could implement this there, and this would help print. Let's say I don't know some guy on the EO on the first floor is for some reason on the top of the floor, and then they can just go and print there easily. And same thing for the apartment.